Good morning, everybody. Mr. Pace, I want to thank you for stopping by this special edition of Exposed. Guadalajara, or what, like I like to call it, the fight at the OK Corral. Things were great. We have great candidates. We've got good vision. We've got smart people. And I got to tell you, the new candidates are exactly every bit as good as I thought they were. Some of them are a little camera shy and a little talk shy, and I can appreciate that. I've been in front of crowds before, so it doesn't bother me so much. Officer Stinson put on an epic performance, did a great job, and people, for that matter, listened to what he had to say. Just the same with Mrs. Vance, said a little bit less, but she still did a great job. And Mrs. Ringen showed up, and it was just an all-around good time party. What a lot of people don't know is I don't go to these functions without a tape recorder. I've learned my lesson over the years. You're never going to have one of those uh-oh moments if you don't carry a tape recorder, and I can tell you this. Woodman Hills is going to get sued by Metro Club, and they have a right and justification to do so because, well, they've been screwed over for the last, I'd say, 8 to 9 years, okay? And this district has ignored more than one time where I've come in and said, you're not doing what you're doing, okay? And yesterday's culmination of an excuse ended up with one young lady, okay, who was sitting at the table going, well, why are we doing what the lawyers tell us to do? Ma'am, I'm paraphrasing your statement. I may not get it right, but you were absolutely hit the nail on the head. If our lawyers are telling us to do this, we need new lawyers. Because I'm not going to buy them any more townhouses and Mercedes-Benz. It just doesn't work like that for me. But they seem to think, and as it was conclusively proved yesterday at this meeting, they rely heavily on those attorneys to give them sound legal advice, and that's not how it works. You ask them their opinion, they let you know if it's okay, and then you go forward, not the other way around. Because if the lawyers are running this district, the one thing they are going to get run is out of town. Okay? That is to Bendelow and Kirkbride. You do not need to be here anymore. If I couldn't believe that they were actually doing that, and they threw the lawyers under the bus. I don't think the lawyers are solely responsible, but I can tell you, for the most part, based on what I know about the board and how they operate, yeah, I would say about 80% of what we have that ills Woodman Hills is the lawyers, and that's got to go. Doesn't mean the board's not culpable or responsible, it just means they go along with what they tell them. Like with the new user agreement, the lawyers told us to do it. Well, the lawyers are wrong, and the lawyers don't live here, and the lawyers don't pay the bills. And I want to give a special thanks and shout out to Anthony Pizzi. Mr. Pizzi, I don't know what it is I caught. I'm assuming you're referring to some type of venereal disease, right? I'm not going to get into that, but it was sure fun to know that I was sitting there having a conversation with Lisa Peterson that was more than any conversation I've had in 5 years, okay? And then she asked me about how I smashed my head open and got my concussion. Things happen, okay? But it was funny, she was trying to have a conversation, and then you came over and grabbed her, escorted her from a table, and then blurted out your stupid little comment, which I thought was just absolutely priceless. At least you need to stay away from him. You might catch something. Yes, you might get some intelligence. Mr. Pizzi, you're the kind of cop that makes every other cop look bad. You really do. You give Mr. Stinson a bad name. You give the Deputy Duda a bad name. You give Deputy Dixon a bad name. You give the aforementioned Deputy Rumovitz a bad name, and Deputy Allen a bad name, and you give all the other officers I've had the fortune, or however it is I've had a meeting them. You shouldn't have been a cop. You're just a scorned man with just a chip on your shoulder. It's just so evident. Folks, I'm going to put that recording up as soon as I can find the time to get it squared away, because I have to edit the beginning and the ending, because there was some other people that came in and I don't want their stuff on there, and I'm going to have it to my friend to post it. But I got to tell you, the biggest thing that happened was Walter Porter absolutely losing it, and I mean screaming, yelling, threatening, all of it. He just came unglued. I didn't do this, I didn't do that, blah 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 blah. And he was starting to threaten me about that I wouldn't answer his questions. Look, folks, I'm there to tell you or explain to the people in that room, and everybody, just everybody, the 7,000 of the Ron's fans, what I want to do to fix the problem. And yesterday I kind of let out some of that information and things that people don't think I can do. We got to try to get it done, and we're going to, okay? It just takes a little bit of patience. Nobody thinks Trump can get anything done. And guess what? Your paychecks went up, your property values went up, everything's going up. So I know I can do what he's done, no problem. The Clintonites are over here telling you they're over here fear-mongering and doing some other things. So I want to get to this part. Yesterday, a little birdie told me about another nepotism hire that I think you should know about. We now have the LePage family, and now it's a family affair. They make close to $120,000 a year in combined salary, drawing it from this district. I now have it on excellent authority that complaints will be filed after this is over because they caught Jeremy LePage ripping my signs out. Way to go, Jeremy. I don't know who Jeremy is. If it's the guy with the beard and the mustache that pulled over in the F-250 and got out of the truck and started making some veiled threats, then I know who he is. And I kind of expected that, but I didn't know. Now, I don't know if Jeremy is the husband or the brother or who he is to Christina, but I'm going to go find out. So please bear with me. But now I know that a lot of you are saying, well, Ron, you said stuff earlier and you said things earlier. A good person knows not to give up the facts of a case when they're investigating, just like cops, okay? You just don't do it. What I needed was concrete evidence to know who was doing what. Now, yes, you can take my signs off of your property, but what you can't do, Mr. LePage, is take signs off private property and signs out of the public right-of-way and use a company truck to do it. That's destruction of a political sign. And why don't you go ahead and ask your lawyer exactly what that means for you and the rest of Woodman Hills and the money that I spent on those signs, because I'm going to be getting that money back. Nepotism hires. I do not like them. They shouldn't be done. And now we have another poor example of just exactly what ails this district. Family members working when there was other qualified people to do that job. I don't agree with it. Oh, and by the way, that gentleman is driving a $50,000 F-250 4x4 long bed extended cab pickup truck. Okay? So they had to go buy him a truck. Something I'm against. I'm Mr. Pace. You have to make a real tough decision. You have to believe for a minute that I can do what I said I can do for you. And I'm not here for those 6 or 7 people over there anymore. I'll do what I have to do as a collective group. But quite frankly, I'm not going to spend your money like they did. I'm not going to operate the same way they did. And you have to believe that when I tell you that if given a chance, you're going to see an entirely different Mr. Pace if I get elected, because I'm going to be combing through those books to find out just exactly where your money went, because you deserve nothing less. And you owed an explanation. Not only deserve it, you're owed an explanation. It's your right. And I'm not going to let anybody take those rights away from you and your family. And to the Park and Rec agreement that should have been changed, should have never been done in the first place, if I get elected, my sole promise, if nothing else, bada bing, bada boom. I hate to borrow that phrase. I'm sorry. I'll copyright it later. Or you put the kudos to the folks over there at the hotel chain. I borrowed your bada bing. I think I can say bada bing, bada boom. I don't care. It doesn't matter. My bad. You don't conjure up a lie that 2,652 platted homeowners or 7,000 residents have to look at and believe that you did that because the insurance companies told you not to, and that was a bull-faced lie. I now know with conclusive proof that it should have never been done because we're covered under the Governmental Immunities Act, and we have qualified immunity, which protects this district from being sued for frivolous, okay? That was one of the things you didn't know, and I wanted to tell you that. I just thought today I'd give you a little bit of an education. And you'll notice I've calmed down because now I don't have to be excited anymore. I hope you pay attention to me, and I hope you get out there and vote. But giving someone a salute at a board meeting is something that shouldn't happen because it shows they're losing their control, they're losing their power, and their waning hours are coming. Folks, I'm Mr. Pace. I'm asking you to vote for me, and I'm asking you to believe that when you go to bed at night, you know I'm on the job making sure that your family doesn't have to sacrifice another dime for another bill. Thanks for stopping by.